Alright, Vibe Gardeners. This episode of Vibe Gardening from Dishing, we're going to cover the final conclusion of spinach in tap water. We're going to talk about how filtered tap water did against RO water with spinach in hydroponics. With that said, let's go. Now, if you guys have been following along, you've noticed that I've started off my experiment by basically installing a tap water filter that removes all form of chlorine down to at least about 83% removal of chlorine, as well as some of the other chemicals in there, reducing my tap water from about 390 ppm on a 500 scale down to about just under 300 ppm. And so it has basically this container here with this spinach here has gone through the treatment of being grown in that water with the General Hydroponics Maxi Grow. And over here, this is a shared container of the older spinach with a bunch of new spinach from the same class of spinach as these guys, and been grown about the same time with the same amount of nutrition, but using RO water instead. So in this episode, we're going to go over the actual result of the yield of these plants, and then we're going to talk about some of the things that might have made things different for these two, because it's not a perfect experiment. So I'm going to talk about some of the flaws in this experiment and a little bit of why I think the result was the way it was. So now with that all said, here we go. Alright guys, so right over there I have basically listed for you the spreadsheet result of all the measurement I've taken from the multiple harvest. Now over the span of the entire experiment, basically I can probably keep going with the experiment, but I decided I'm going to stop because it became very clear that the tap water spinaches were not anywhere close to being able to catch up to what was happening with the RO water hydroponics growing. And so the results are very telling in that the RO water system only had 6 plants, and the filter tap water has 12. And yes, there is a significant difference in the size of the container, which I'll get into the difference here. And the reality is that it's a huge difference in that we are seeing well over 80 grams of harvest per plant with RO water one, and we're getting basically like almost down to a third of that here with the tap water. I mean, in gram, and you will see here in the results here, we were measuring basically in ounces. Part of it being that it's really a measurement of measure from the United States where I am, where I'm basically looking at the amount of production from spinach to talk about cost saving from grocery for me. Locally, we're talking about 8 ounces of spinach being about $7, anywhere from $11 to $14 for 4 16-ounce pound of spinach. So already, as you can see, I'm making myself a pretty good return on my investment with this spinach. There is a significant difference, and as you can see from the complete log here, there was never really a chance that the tap water could even catch up with the RO water. All right, so now we're going to talk a little bit about some of the, I guess, flaws of this experiment, in that I was not able to set up truly a scientific testing environment, where everything was really essentially just, well, how do I put it? It's really just a basement experiment, which this is. So a lot of it is going to have a lot of problems. So one of the things for sure is that the height of the lid, as you can see, is quite different. There's approximately about 5 inches of a height difference, 4 to 5 inches difference between this lid and that lid, or more like 4 inches actually. 4 inches with the light right being over here. As you can see, that alone right there creates quite a difference. And they also have the effect of this other light here. So there's 2 different lights, whereas this spinach here is getting light from both of different qualities. And also the distance of the light down is not that it's not the same. So this filtered tap water is getting less light intensity of light than the RO water. So already we're putting this spinach at a disadvantage over the RO water. And the other thing that really happened that was basically a mess was that in the beginning, this RO water solution had significantly more nutrition than this right here. Because here what happened was that it started with no nutrition at first, and I slowly ramped it up like I probably should have. But here, the difference was that I didn't have the luxury because there were already other spinach plants in here already. So these guys got thrusted right into a pretty strong nutrition right away. And as we can see here with spinach, that actually was not to the detriment of the plant. Actually, I think it basically had to grow faster and quicker. And what we can tell is that there are, I'm not going to do close up here because we're at the end here, and there's all kinds of aging going on, but you can see it's already to start showing major aging here with these spinach, which means it's further along developmental life cycle than these guys. These guys are showing no sign of aging here whatsoever. So, or nearly as much. There is some towering going on and some bolting, but here the leaves are showing that it's basically too old. It needs to be harvested already. And so the life stage of both spinach basically accelerated at different rates due to the nutritional difference. And I think the biggest difference, biggest difference is that I can account for. Of course, there's many more, right? The biggest difference is that on this container here, because RO water, I have to artificially add some calcium-magnesium supplement or CalMag supplementing there. And I noticed that I wasn't adding enough. And because tap water already had CalMag, and I have no idea how much was actually filtered out by the active carbon filter that was taking out the chlorine. But here with this one, I know it's down to 0. So I have to basically artificially add everything. And what I ended up doing was I realized the deficiency was so bad, it was at the detriment of basically all the other plants. So I boosted the supplement of calcium magnesium in this container to the recommended by the actual package from General Hydroponics. Every time I added 1 liter of water, I'm adding about 5 milliliters of calcium magnesium supplement or whatever it is that they're, well actually 1 milliliter. So 1 milliliter to 1 liter, which is supplement. So I've been basically keeping up with the recommended every time I top off this system here. Now, this I think was a massive difference because suddenly I started noticing that no matter what stage of life the spinach was, the stem became thicker, stronger, and the leaf became more appealing for eating. So the one thing I learned pretty hard here is that calcium magnesium supplement is extremely important for the health of the spinach. So that I have made this system here with RO water actually matching to the recommended usage by General Hydroponics, whereas this one with the filtered tap water, I didn't add any. And I think this was to the detriment of the spinach right here. So again, let's review the chart here of the difference between the RO and tap water in the per plant yield of how many grams I was able to yield. The difference is absolutely ridiculous. We're talking about almost a 3-fold increase in yield with RO filter. So the question really comes down to why is that the case? And like I said, I think the main thing here that I talked about was the calcium magnesium addition. And yeah, the light was different, but 4 inches in this case might not be that much of a difference because it's the 4 inches at the bottom of the distance here. So if you look at it mathematically from the inverse squared drop-off of light intensity, it shouldn't matter that much. So if it was, it was closer, that would be a bigger problem. But the main thing that we notice here is that this spinach here, the lighting is a minor factor, I think, but I think calcium magnesium is actually a major factor. And even before I changed the calcium magnesium, I was seeing already a pretty big difference in the yield. And the reason behind that, I think part of it is that I had to wait for the seedlings to get big enough to be able to transfer to the RO water system. And because of that, I'm basically taking the most vigorous plants into the RO water, not exactly by design, but because of the way that the plant can handle nutrition shock. So these probably were the better genetics in here. But I think on top of that, the other thing that really made a big difference, I think, is that it's a lack of ions already in the RO water, the lack of other chemicals and substance in there that basically gave us the nutrition, the ability to not get canceled out with the chemical reactions. So I believe a lot of nutrition for the tap water, the filter tap water, even though it's filtered, it still had a lot of nutritional lockup in the solution. So that reduced the effectiveness of the nutrition. So overall, I think the big thing was probably calcium magnesium, but overall, I think even bigger was the amount of chemical reaction locking up nutrition from calcium magnesium, from the filter tap water. So, that's kind of why we're seeing this such a big difference. And I think the least of them is probably lighting, though I'm sure it was also a not insignificant contributor to the results. All right, guys, so I think that's pretty boring episode of me kind of just going over charts here of what happened with this experiment. And that, I think, taught me quite a bit about spinach, how it grew, and the ability to grow crops in filtered tap water. And the conclusion here is yes, I can absolutely grow spinach and have it work pretty well in filtered tap water, but the result is significantly less yield than the RO water. But it's also not a very clean experiment. There's a lot of flaws in how this was executed. So what I'm going to do in the future is I think I still will run in filtered tap water container, because all these systems, both of them, needs to be reset. So I'm going to dedicate one of them to filter tap water because of just the ease of maintaining the water. Because for me to get the right amount of RO water to be able to fill this thing up is absolutely incredible. It takes a week for me to get enough RO water to be able to fill a whole system. It's just not very practical. So I think once I reset it, I'm going to make that system right there all filter tap water. And yes, it didn't perform as well as RO water, but what I think I'll do this time is take what I learned, which is the moment it's ready, bump it right up. Give it a little taper period, but just don't baby it. Take it to the target nutrition level, which is about 800 ppms on a 500 scale of added nutrition from the General Hydroponic Maxi Grow. And then from that point on, I'm going to start adding the right amount of calcium-magnesium supplement at the recommended level by General Hydroponics, which is where I got the supplement from. And I think that'll give me close to the performance of RO water, but the amount of overhead of running RO water system is so high that I'm definitely going to be taking advantage of my new filtered tap water system. So I hope that taught you guys a little bit about growing spinach in hydroponics, and the fact that yes, we can actually grow it using filtered tap water as long as you significantly reduce the presence of chlorine. And hopefully you guys will be trying this yourself, and please comment below what you find. And again, please subscribe for more updates like this video. So with that said, guys, keep gardening and keep vibing. Let's go.